6. So altogether, how many 12s were eaten? So how many, what fraction of the pizza remains? Well, 2 out of the 12 remain, and that is the same as 1/6. So if I were jotting down notes for myself on tomorrow's test, which I would recommend unless you missed 0. How many people missed 0? Oh, we got 1 or 2. Other questions? Taylor.
Can you do number 5 on the board?
Would love to do number 5 on the board. I'd love to find number 5 on the board. How many square yards of carpet are needed to cover the floor of a room that is 15 feet long and 12 feet wide? All right. Red flags, ladies and gentlemen, go up when they ask you to find square yards, yet they give you the dimensions in square feet. Okay, you can't mix and mingle those sort of things, so you got to change them somewhere along the line. You obviously sketched it out, right, Taylor? Right, Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay. This is 12 feet by 15 feet. You probably want to change that into yards right away to make your life easier. Because when you convert afterwards, it changes a whole lot of things. And that's why they said 1 yard is 3 feet. So if you have 12 yards or 12 feet, how many yards is that?
4.
4. So this is now 4 yards. 15 divided by 3 is? 5. Now to find the area, it's just length times width. 4 times 5 is 20 yards squared. I want to go into the long explanation. If you multiply 12 times 15, you'd actually have to divide that by 9. Long explanation, we'll talk about it later. Just convert, note to self, convert first, or convert first. Charlie.
Number 7 doesn't matter which order it went in.
I mean for the, is that the one we had to prime factorize?
Yeah.
It does not, other than the fact that anytime I read answers, I will always go least to greatest, because that's what the book does, so no, as long as you have the right number of factors there. Josh?
Can you do 1 on the board?
Number 1 on the board. What does number 1 say? Flying an average speed of 580 miles per hour, how far would it take? 2.5 hours. And again, Josh, I like to just kind of sketch myself off a little picture. I'm going 580 miles per hour. So in 1 hour, I go 580 miles. In another hour, I'm going to go 580 miles. In another hour, I'm going to go 580 miles. How far? This question asks me, how far will I go in 2.5 hours? Well, in 1 hour, I'm going this, right?
Yeah.
In another hour, I'm going this. But I'm only going half of the third hour. So how can I do this, or what would you recommend doing?
Divide 580 by 2.
Sure. So in half of an hour, you're only going to go 290 miles. So feel free to add 580 plus 580 plus 290. You could just multiply by 2.5. You're going to get the same answer. What's that? 25 to 10, 1450. 1,450 miles. But quite often, I'm going to guess if you got this wrong, for some reason maybe you thought you divided because it was a big number and a little number, you're like, I'll just divide it, because that seems like what we do usually when we have big numbers and little numbers.
What I did is
That's not the case.
I put half of an hour instead of half of 580.
So you put 60, added 60 minutes to it? Or 30 minutes to it? Did that work? Perfect. There better be a lot of good grades here. I got a lot of bored people. Hope that translates into good math grades there. Kind of how? Number 10. Because then, if somebody's parents ask me, hey, how come you didn't do well? I say, you know what, watch the video and see how many questions they asked. What's the beauty of the bicameral system? Speaking of the bicameral system, is our government still shut down?
Yep.
Has it affected you?
No,
Wait, why is it shut
because they couldn't decide.
The coordinates of three vertices of a square, who did this, Kendall? Did you put these three vertices on a piece of rectangular coordinate paper?
Yes.
Alright, and did they end up looking somewhat like a square? If they didn't, I mean, if you don't get the 3 points to look like they could form a square, you probably don't understand where to put the points here. For example, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You should have 1 point there. Negative 1, 2. Negative 1, 1, 2. You should have a point there. So far so good, looks like it could make a square. Negative 1, negative 2. Negative 1, negative 2. What point is going to create a square? To me, it looks like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, negative 2, which it'll end up being on your paper. I don't know what, oops. I'm not so sure how you can not, what did you do? Did your points not end up being here, here, and here? Well, then you need to figure out what you're not getting about the coordinate system, because it's 3 over 2 up. 1, 2, 3, 2 up. Back 1, up 2. Back 1, down 2. We did the coordinates, remember the little pretty fox you drew?
Yes.
Don't start singing fox. Holly,
Remember 13.
had enough of that. Is that this one? Or just the wrong test?
That's really we're not doing it anymore.
8 times $1.25?
No, we're not doing that.
This one. I got it. Find 4AC. What does A next to the C mean there, Holly? Exactly, and it should look like this. 4 times what A is times what C is. A is 3 and C is 5. 4 times 3 times 5. Now you could do 4 times 5 first because of what property of math?
No, it's
Commutative, I would say. 4 times 5 is 20, times 3 is 60. No way about it. So far, so good. Kendall,
One more, I promise.
no, I, listen, ask away. I'm surprised many of your other classmates aren't. That's kind of what we're on at. But again, I'm assuming that means everybody's gonna get A's, because everybody must have got otherwise from right. Yes, Kevin?
Do you number 7?
I hope so. Right, the prime factorization of 630. Well, Kendall, we got 2 different ways to do this. It's either a factor tree or it's division by primes. When you did it, which did you do? Okay, now when you do the tree, you just have to be careful that, in fact, the 2 things you multiply together actually give you what you're doing here. 630, what times what gives you that? I concur, that's probably your best bet there. Now what do you do at 10 and 63?
10, 2 times 5, and then 63, 9 times 7.
Okay, and what I would strongly recommend is this. Anytime you get to a prime number, I would circle it, so I know I stopped my tree at that point. Both of these can't be divided anymore. 9, however, can. It's not a prime number, but 7 is not. 7 can't be broken down anymore. 9 can be broken into 3 times 3, and then both of those are fine. So when you rewrite this, you have a 2, 2 3s, a 5, and then a 7. And if you want to put it as 3 squared, more power to you. Ideally, it'd be nice if you put it in order from least to greatest. Lauren?
Did you know 18?
Number 18. Absolutely. Is that a minus sign between those?
Yes.
Is it?
Yep.
Alright, so you just need to know what 10 squared is, Lauren. What's 10 times 10? And from that, you're subtracting what the square root of 100 is, which means what number times itself gives you 100? 10. So what's 100 minus 10? 9. Just like that. Ashley.
Number 15.
Number 15. Is that y minus 12 equals 7?
Yes.
And again, this one here, people, we haven't gotten to the point where we're actually solving by doing anything other than just by looking at them. So you just have to say to yourself, okay, what number when I subtract 12 from it will give me 7?
Well, I switched 12 and y, so I did 5 for y.
Well, unfortunately in math, that's not allowed. Had it been addition, it would work. Because of the commutative property of addition, you can flip-flop those, but subtraction does not have that same property. You're not allowed to flip-flop one from the other, right, Caroline? It's gonna be a long class. This is something, huh? Nothing worse. People always want a job where they don't have to work very hard, kids. That'd be my worst nightmare. For you to sit there, like, for example, worst job in the world, stop and go sign holder person.
Oh my gosh.
For 8 hours a day,
Oh my gosh.
you know, that'd just be the longest day in the world. It wouldn't even be worth it.
Yeah.
Give me some job where I'm doing something all the time. 'Cause like you sitting there, staring blankly at me. I can't imagine how incredibly dull. Anybody else? Because I'm about ready to close the.